you are not alone. There are more people with same traumas. There are more people who um, had to take care mentally, emotionally for their parents. There were more people who get bullied and still had these effects on their daily lives, for example. So it's so beautiful to have these sisters around you who support each other.
Welcome to the Travel Not to Escape podcast. I'm your host, Geleenonthego, solo female traveler and creative entrepreneur. Think of me as your skydive instructor, empowering you to take the leap into solo travel to push past your fears and transform your life. Join me every Tuesday as we explore the world of solo travel with purpose and discover how you can use it for your personal transformation, learn how to make meaningful connections around the world, and reignite your spirit of play. We aren't just talking about traveling to find ourselves anymore. We're all about doing the work to understand who we authentically are, breaking through our limiting beliefs, and taking the leaps to manifest lives we are excited about. Through interviews, solo episodes, and meditations, each episode is packed with practical tips, strategies, and inspiring stories from guests who have transformed their lives through solo travel. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or just starting out on your journey, the Travel Not to Escape podcast is here to inspire and empower you to solo travel with purpose. Strap on your helmet. We're about to jump headfirst into the journey of a lifetime. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Travel Not to Escape. Today's episode, I'm so excited to have you on. Nikki Thijssen, I am going to chat with her about her story of solo travel transformation. She and I actually met here in Bali and have enjoyed so many chats about life and career and rock bottom. So I wanted to have her on here today so we can chat about her story and her passion for mental health awareness and what she's up to while she's traveling. Thank you for coming on, Nikki, and welcome.
Thank you, Jeline. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to have this experience with you. And I think it's so cool that you're doing it. And I'm excited about this conversation. So let's go.
Yay, I'm so excited. Okay, perfect. So I start off with a question about play to all of my guests. And so before we start with our questions, I wanted to first ask you, what was your favorite childhood activity?
I was a very creative child. I was always drawing, painting. Yeah, there was also a lot outside. I was obsessed with horses. And yeah, just running around, cycling, go to the beach a lot. Still beach girl. I love to go to the beach. And Bali has it. Yeah, so but mostly creative, outdoorsy, a little bit adventurous,
Yeah.
big animal lover. I still am a big
Oh,
animal lover.
yes.
So yeah, so these are the kind of things that I did when I was a child. Yes.
Oh, I can already think of, so there's 8 different play styles, different play personalities, and it tracks to the different types of activities that you enjoyed as a child, and you can have more than one.
Yeah.
And already I'm thinking you might be like a kinesthetic, like being in your body, movement. There's also a little bit of an explorer in you because you wanted to be in the outdoors and check out new things. And also a bit of the artist creator as well. So it's a combination of those things. And I like to start off with this question because it gives me unbiased insight into kind of your background. And then as we dive into your story,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how it connects to what you're doing now and how you're living your life now. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. Let's start off from the very beginning. Can you tell me a little bit about you? We'll do a little intro about you and your background, where you're from, and how you started solo traveling.
Yes, of course. So my name is Nikki. So I am 35. I lived my whole life in the Netherlands. I'm a city girl, so I lived for a couple of years in Amsterdam. I lived in The Hague. I lived in Haarlem, and
Oh, wow, all over.
all over. Yeah, exactly, but always in the big cities. I like to hang out with my friends. I like to go to festivals, especially the electronic ones, and we have a lot of that in the Netherlands. So I had a period of it like appeared in my life that I was like almost going every weekend and having fun. And I met a lot of friends over there. So and they are still my friends. Yeah, it's something that I really enjoyed. I always worked for the government, like for almost 15 years, I would say. I studied public administration. I have my master's in it as well. And I had like different roles, like project lead, process manager. But I really felt like, hey, this is not the right environment for me. I had a couple of depressions, not really related to work or something, more personal stuff I've been through. And 3 years ago, I had a burnout. So that was really a turning point for me where I started to look at my environment, especially my work environment. Is it really nurturing me? Is this the right fit for me? And I started to dream. I always had a dream of, hey, I want to live abroad. I want to work from abroad. I love to travel. I do solo traveling already for 10 years. I started to look at the right environment for me and create the life that is good for me and the environment that is good for me. And that's how I ended up as an
Oh,
entrepreneur,
uh,
as a self-employed woman. I have my own VA business, so virtual assistant business, thinking about a second business, something to do with mental health, because I really feel that I want to talk about it. It's about lifestyle design for me, and
yeah.
designing your own life, creating the circumstances that are really fitting me and nurturing me. So that's something that yeah, that's something where I'm at right now.
Amazing. Thank you. And thank you for sharing all of that. I want to dive in a little bit deeper. You said you've been traveling for 10 years now. That's a long time. And
Hmm.
what was that first? Was travel something that you grew up seeing? It seems like you moved around a bit. So was it something that you did a lot already with your family and like it was normalized in your family, or solo traveling was kind of unique and something you had to take a leap to do?
So I grew up with my parents. They're still together. I have a brother who is younger than me, like 2 years younger than me. We like every summer we had a holiday, always for 2 3 weeks. I've seen a lot in Europe because of that, but it was never outside of Europe. It was never or that meant that my parents did some solo traveling or something. I had like more an example of my auntie, especially her kids. They were doing it. Well, I do not really have a good connection with them or very close connection, but at least that was something that I saw it. But I think it was more like a leap for me to do it. For me, it was really in a moment or in a period of my life that I was fully depressed. I was really sick at the time. And yeah, on a Monday morning, I still remember it so clearly. I wake up and I thought, let's give life another chance and let's do something that I really would like to do. And that's I want to go solo, traveling solo. And that was really it's still when I'm going through a rough moment, I always think about that moment because in that moment I choose me. I choose myself, something that I really wanted to do. I took the leap and I had an amazing time in Thailand. And after that I felt a lot better. I still had to work I still had a lot of work to do for myself, but it really helped me and it really reminds me like do the things that are good for you and stand up for it. And that's what traveling is about for me. It's about, even now I'm here in Bali, I just wanted to create this opportunity for myself because I love myself now. I have this dream of living abroad, working from abroad, and I want to explore. So when you're talking about playing, I really want to explore. Is it something for me? And if it's not, it's also fine. And if it works out, perfect. Then I keep going and keep exploring. And so that's really what traveling is about for me. It's about playing, it's about exploring yourself, it's about creating a life that fits you and It really your horizon makes it like expanded. Yeah. Yeah. So I think everyone should go on a solo travel. It helps you with your personal growth and put other things in perspective, put things in other perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Just,
when you're seeing the world, it puts your mind and like just automatically in a different mindset.
yeah.
It makes the problems that you're experiencing like, oh, I can handle this because it's smaller. There's a lot more things going on in the world than what your brain kind of tricks you into thinking like this is the
Yeah.
worst and like this is it, like, and then you take yourself out of that situation, that environment, and you're like, oh, there's a lot more I don't know,
Yeah.
and it's worth
Exactly.
continuing. But if you can share, like, what were the circumstances that kind of got you to this point where you were like at the rock bottom?
I was that depressed thinking about, hey, what am I doing here? I'm not worth it. I had a very low self-esteem. I saw other like my friends were growing and they know their destination I didn't see it. I was just laying down in bed and the whole day I was very skinny. I'm still like petite, but then it was minus 10 kilos, so it was pretty rock bottom. Yeah, it was really choosing myself at the moment. Of course,
Yeah.
there's a whole story behind being depressed. It has really to do with the relationships that I had with my parents. I don't know if you have ever heard of parentification. I had a very unhealthy relationship with my parents. I had to take care of them like from a very young age, like mentally, emotionally, because they have never worked on their own trauma. So sometimes there was tension between my mom and my dad, and I was mediating and all stuff like that. So I think I grew up pretty fast, and I had to develop my own identity because I had this. I'm doing this. Yeah, you cannot see because we recorded, but like me, my mom, we were one. And for her, it was really difficult to let me go and to be my own person. So that's also something that I had to. I'm doing this.
Like
Uh,
untangle almost.
yes,
Yeah.
that's something that I had to do, and that was going to Thailand for 3 months while I was so depressed was the first step because she had to let me go. And it was really about discovering who I am as a person. And actually, I think no, it's not that I think I know now who I am as a person, but it took me like almost 10 years to unravel that and
Yeah.
to develop my own in identity. And now my mom was here like a few weeks ago, and I see that we have such a healthy relationship right now, and her anxiety, her emotions are not mine anymore. So we are really two different people now, two individuals who really love each other, have a really good connection with each other, but in a healthy way.
That's amazing. There, you and I actually, we haven't talked about this before, but you and I have a lot in common, and it sounds like in
Oh,
how we grew up.
mm,
I also had to kind of be that emotional, like, intelligence in the family, that emotional support,
yeah,
and really be the parent emotionally to my mom, and my siblings, being the
yeah,
youngest, because a lot of them, all of them, had traumas, and their
yeah,
traumas became my traumas,
exactly.
and but they still, don't realize all of it, and yeah, it does force you to grow up really really early on in life, and then from there you carry the burden of everyone else, and
Yes,
everyone else's problems, so you don't get to actually live your life. And I think maybe that's kind of why both of us were drawn to solo travel, because it was the one moment where it almost feels like you could breathe, like you don't have to carry the weight. The distance helps create that space for you to actually just be you
Yeah,
without having to take care of someone else's feelings or wants or needs or desires. You could actually think like, who am I? What am I doing? What do I want to do in my life?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm sorry to hear that you have to go through something like that. But yeah, it's really that we have that in common. Well, I of course we didn't know, but I always felt like, hey, there's a deeper connection between you and I, and this
Yeah.
is probably one of them, and I think there will be more. But yeah,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
really about that, and I'm really aware. I mean, I did a lot of therapy sessions. I'm off therapy now, and I'm very happy with that. But I really had to realize about the intergenerational
Oh,
traumas that you
yeah.
can, like, I see them at well, both of my parents, and they never worked on it. And I was carrying that weight. And at some point, I have to give that back to them. Like, it's a very spiritual thing and really, develop my own identity. But I'm very aware of it. Even, I mean, I'm 35. I would love to become a mom one day, but I'm also very aware, like, hey, I'm already for a few years try to break these intergenerational patterns. And yeah, I think I'm on the right way. I'm on the right track. So
Yeah.
it's really important, yeah, as if you want to become a parent, to be aware of it at least.
Yeah, no, it's so important because otherwise you're just continuing the pattern, the cycle that you grew up with. And as much as we don't want to be that, whatever we grew up with, like the negative things,
Yeah,
if you're not aware of how to do it, aware of it in general, and then aware of how to break it, then you're just going to fall back into the same patterns. And
exactly.
taking a step back for you, understanding who you are, what your identity is, and how you want to show up in this world and how you want to show up as a parent.
Exactly.
That's crucial work. That yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
So when you were in Thailand, and that was it was 10 years ago, you said initially.
Yeah.
And what was that first trip like for you? So you had just finally gone off 3 months in Thailand solo. How was
Yeah.
that adjustment process? Like, did you like solo traveling right when you started? Because it's hard right when you start. So what was
Yeah.
that like, kind of getting used to it?
I remember that in the beginning it was really difficult for me because, of course, I still was in a certain mindset. I
Hmm.
was there by myself. I didn't know how to connect.
Hmm.
Um, it was difficult in the beginning, but at some point I was meeting new people and I started to discover like photography. It's also
Oh,
a way to connect. At some point, I started to meet people, didn't feel that lonely anymore, and started to enjoy it. At that point, I still had like my medication for my depression, so I
mhm.
was not really like partying and drinking and stuff like that. It was more like doing all the trips, like snorkeling, and
Oh,
like
nice.
I love the ocean. I was doing, how do you call it, like the Thai boxing. Took some classes over there in Pai. I remember it's a little village in the north of Thailand. Yeah, at some point I started to connect with people, and that really helps you, I think, in general, not to feel that lonely. And hey, we're all we're all doing the same,
Yeah.
and then that really helps to connect. Yeah,
I think that's the thing that I've realized solo traveling is that connection is really what makes you feel like whole within you, right? Like you
yeah,
go off on these solo travel adventures thinking you're going to be by yourself, and when you lean into to that, there's like a certain balance that you need. You need to be by yourself to sit with your thoughts, but then you also need to feel connected with other people, the city that you're in, and just like the
for
environment
sure.
around you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And for me, it really helps me to step out of my comfort zone in a way that I didn't have so many friends when I was younger. I got bullied for quite a couple of years when I was in primary school. It was really that was the first point that I developed like a low self-esteem. So it was difficult for me step out of my comfort zone. Like, hey, do people really like me? And can I ask them, hey, how are you? Or just make a comment to connect. So I was really struggling in the beginning with that, and still it can be difficult for me because I had that experience on a very young age
Yeah.
where I
Yeah,
didn't
children are
fit.
cruel.
Yeah, exactly, where I didn't really fit into a group. So yeah, but at the same time, now I'm so happy that I did all this traveling and all this experience. I did it all solo, and now it's become more easy for me, become more natural for me. So yeah, I would definitely advise people to maybe not to go to Thailand in the beginning for 3 months, but you can start small. I mean, just go to another city by yourself, or for me, go for 1 week to Spain and go to live in a hostel, try to connect. If it's difficult for you, just challenge yourself because it's in it, but you just have to experience it if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I know what you mean. But yeah, definitely it's the small steps towards the dream, the future that you want for
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
And if you really want it, like there's ways that you can ease yourself into it. It could be a big leap, like going to Thailand for 3 months, or it could just be small, expansive steps within
Exactly.
your own city, like going
Yeah.
solo, taking yourself on a
Yeah.
solo date for half a day, even
Yeah.
just doing things by yourself.
Yeah, I think you can create like these mini adventures for yourself. Like, for example, I lived in Amsterdam for quite a while. I was living on the west side, absolutely the best side, I would say.
West side's best
But
side.
west side, west side. But I started to do these mini adventures. Like I went to the north and discovered like all the street art there. Like, oh, that's amazing. And they have like other museums, and I was just there by myself and started to really enjoy it. Like, or go to the east side and rent a bike there and just cycling around. Just you can create these mini adventures for yourself that really helps you to enjoy being by yourself, I think, in the first place, but also to step out of your comfort zone and ask someone else next to you on the table in the restaurant, like, hey, how are you today? Or what do you have for dinner? Just challenge yourself. These
Connect.
are just, yeah, connect. These are these little steps you can do even in your own city. So yeah, it could be a first step, I think, if you want to explore. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All good tips. I did the same thing, like exploring my own city and then taking that leap. What
hmm
was the so you were in Thailand for 3 months. Did you go back to the Netherlands right after, or did you continue traveling?
No, I went back to the Netherlands. I had to go back to work. Yeah, and at some point I had no money anymore, so I had to work. And yeah, really try to build up my life again. And yeah,
Was that coming back part really difficult, or like how did you support yourself mentally coming back? Because when you're traveling solo, you're able to experience so many things, you're living this whole new life, you're not connected to all the burdens maybe that you might feel in your day-to-day life, but when you
hmm
come back, they're there waiting for you.
yeah.
And it's all there facing you right when you step off the plane. So what was that process like of coming back from that first trip and then having to face yourself again? And then you've made it out here on the other side, a much, in a very different life. So like what was that process like in the very beginning?
Oh, it was, as far as I remember, it was difficult because, like what you said, the burdens were still there, the problems were still there. Yes, I felt better, but at the same time I felt back in certain patterns that were these patterns were so intense and built up for already like 24 years. You cannot change that in 3 months by just going to Thailand. I had some more energy, that was for sure, but I still had to go to therapy. I still had to start over again with my work, and yeah, it was difficult. It was still a process of getting to know myself and break through all these patterns and create my own identity and who am I. And like I said, it took me almost 10 years.
What was what were the things that you put into place? It sounds like you did a lot of therapy.
Yeah,
What else helped you kind of go through this identity process?
I like when you're younger, for example, between 16 and you're 22, like you go out, you go to explore, you go to discover, yeah, you have these parties. You're going a little bit wild to create your head to discover who you are. I did not really do that. I was really focused on study and school and all the results and have to accomplish all this stuff, like all the things that I thought that people were expecting from me. So I worked really hard. I was always working. So at some point I did a lot of parties. I had to
Get
it was almost an explosion. Do you know what I
it
mean?
out of your system. Yeah.
I went out of my system and just explore and trying new things and getting to know new people. And that's one of the things that I did. I just needed that. I just really needed that. Yes, I did a lot of therapy sessions for many years actually, like every day, every week, 1 hour. It was pretty intense till last year, December. I finished it and I celebrated it.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's something you have to do. But also really helps me because therapy is really about things in on your mind, things in your, how do you say it, to get that right. But at some point, I really missed the connection with my body. That's why I would suggest to do like more an holistic approach because your body is an experience. Your body already knows what it wants, what's good for you, and what's not good for you. But when you are not connected with your body, um, yeah, then you have a problem. So that's how I ended up in a burnout like 3 years ago, and I really had to connect with my body again. And something that was really key for me, and it was last year that I figured out how dysregulated my nerve system was, and I started to read a lot about it. So I stopped, for example, I stopped drinking. I didn't do the party that much anymore. I started to eat more healthy. I started to do meditation, breathing sessions, all stuff like that, just to get my system regulated again. So that's really key. That's really key for me. And now I'm in Bali. I'm so peaceful. I feel that I have a really regulated nerve system right now. What really helped me as well was the yoga nidra and the yin yoga, where it's a very easy way to connect with your body again. So that's something that really has helped me. Another thing that really helped me was at some point I was doing a program, the Warrior Queen program, and we were like in a sisterhood. So we were with 15 ladies talking about the things that we have been through, and then had these effect on our daily lives, for example. So it's so beautiful to have these sisters around you who support each other and not put each other down and have this jealousy and all stuff like that. So yeah, treat each other like a queen. And
Yes.
yeah, exactly. And put that crown on your head for yourself, but also support your sisters to do that. So that's really how I look at the women around me, like, oh, we are all sisters. And yeah, just support each other and be there for each other. And you will find a lot of support when you start talking about it and be open about it. So that was also something that was really helpful to be in a sisterhood. And I
I
think
love
it's something you are creating here for yourself as well with your whole program. It's like
yes.
female solo travelers, and I think that's amazing because the people will recognize certain dilemmas or other things and just support each other. That's it's a beautiful thing to do that for your other sisters.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned so many amazing things that you've done in order to get your mindset, your body, like to get you to where you're at right now, where you're just so at peace.
Yes.
And it's really beautiful. Like I love that you mentioned the therapy, doing that weekly, especially when you need that like unpacking of your mind. That is
Mm-hmm.
such an amazing tip. I love that you mentioned exploring and moving in your body, and regaining that connection with your body, because I think part of the your self-worth, your confidence, it's all built in how you move in this world with your body. Like you can see when someone's confident when they walk in the room because their posture is high. Like they just shine. And that starts from you being comfortable with your body. And so by doing the partying and doing the going out and exploring, I think that honestly helps, because that like I've seen you dance at Sabaya, right? Like you know how to dance, you know how to move in your body, and that's I think something that you've
Yes.
built up, right?
Yes.
And yeah, the breath work, the holistic approach, and especially surrounding yourself with other like-minded women, supportive women, because we aren't alone. We are all here on the same mission. We're all here trying to figure ourselves out. And I think that it's beautiful when we can help each other on those missions. And like I'm always a big proponent of like surrounding myself with amazing, inspiring women and like helping each other like lift up, right? Like, because if you
Yes.
lift each other up, then you're automatically getting lifted up with that as well. So, like, everyone wins in that scenario. So,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing tips. I loved every single one of those.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's really about lifting each other up. And unfortunately, I think we still live in a world that is very masculine and really focused on the male.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, I think on the man, I think it's really like in a time where we are in transitioning. Like women, we get more powerful, we get more like a voice, we become more, they're more leaders now. Yeah, just surround yourself with people like women who inspire you. And what I would like to add to that perspective is also be open to diversity. For example, and that's something that I really like also about traveling. Like it's also who I am as a person because at home I have friends with different backgrounds. I have friends who are Muslim. I have friends who are Hindu. I have friends who are have another skin color. And I think when you're traveling, just open yourself up for the diversity, for other cultures, and try to connect with people who are different to you because it can really help you with eye openers and getting new perspectives. And that's also something that traveling is giving me.
Yeah, I love that. And then that's the thing is like the diversity in backgrounds gives you diversity in thought. And then you
Exactly.
can see the world in all these different ways, and it makes it even more beautiful, being this like tapestry of all the different perspectives and people that are surrounding you. So I all different shapes, colors, backgrounds, all of it. Bring it on.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
I want to ask you. So you were burnt out from your more government roles,
Hmm.
and you've since transitioned to working online, living abroad. What type of work do you do now? You mentioned a couple of different things. I want to chat with and just understand like what type of work do you do now, and what are the clients that you serve?
Yeah. So what I'm doing right now is I'm a virtual assistant, and that means that I support other entrepreneurs and I help them grow in their business. I'm a The entrepreneurs that I like to work with is mostly the impact makers. So people who really wants to make a difference, like wants to make the world a little bit more beautiful. And that's what they, for example, do with their business. So right now, one of my clients worked for DIE, so diversity, equity, and inclusion. it's definitely a topic to my heart and try to make organizations more inclusive, more diverse. Yeah, it's something that I really like. But of course, it can also be another topic. But for me, like as a young kid, I knew from the beginning, like, hey, I always had these questions on my mind. How can I make a difference? How can I make the world a little bit more beautiful? So that, yeah, I love to work with entrepreneurs who has the same mindset, who has the same like who are impact driven. So, and then the services that I offer is especially about LinkedIn strategy, like social media strategy. I can write the content for you. I can write. It's a lot of writing, and I can also mix it with like the images and text, like images and writing. Yeah, that's
And
basically what I do right now.
and do you do this for from entrepreneurs in every country, or like are your services available just in the Netherlands or all over?
Right now, I just focus myself on the Dutch market. I'm new as an entrepreneur and I'm still building up the business. But maybe in the future, I will do something like worldwide.
Okay, perfect. So impact driven entrepreneurs in the Dutch market.
Yes. Yeah, in the Dutch market.
Amazing.
Yes. Yes.
And then you also chatted with me about your work around mental health awareness as well. Where do you want to take that project?
Yeah, that's really an idea that I have because I feel in every part of my body that I want to talk about mental health because there is still a lot of taboo around it. I think I have to say that I believe that I've been through certain things to help other people. And now I have to transition it in a business. So that's where I am right now. I feel, like I said, in every part of my body that I want to do something about it and create more awareness of mental health. I want to speak up for that. So if you will follow me, for example, on LinkedIn, I post quite often, like a few times a week. One of the topics I'm talking about is mental health and my own transformation, and I'm always open to listen to someone. So that's also you can always reach out to me, like, hey, and share some experience with me, and yeah, listen to you in an empathetic way. I think that's one of my powers, one of the powers that I
Yes,
have. And you I'm very open. I'm very open and to listen to someone and give them some advice. That's for free. But just yeah, just listening. And that's I think that's step number one. It's really
yeah,
about listening and see the other person, hear the other person, and see the other person for who they are and where they are. And from there you can you can have like make little steps to get out of it and get better. So it's like a thing that I have to develop still in, but it's on my mind and it's becoming more clear and clear right now.
yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
at some point I will have probably two businesses. One is a virtual
amazing.
assistant and something with, I think something like coaching or something with on the mental health topic.
I love that. I see that for you. You're just a beautiful energy, and I know that you're going to be able to like help other women, other people that are looking for the steps, the way out, that light that you've been able to find for yourself. So
Yeah.
I will link all of your links in the show notes so that people can reach out to you both for virtual assistant, for any of those impact driven entrepreneurs, and also anyone who resonates with Nikki's story and wants to chat about mental health. Her LinkedIn is open to connect with.
Yeah,
Before we
thank
go, I
you.
want to ask you some just quick fire questions about solo travel, about connection, about play.
Yeah.
So, in terms of connections, you've traveled around the world for the last 10 years. You've stayed in hostels. You've not stayed in hostels. You've done all these things. What were the most meaningful connections? Like, how did you make your most meaningful connections?
First of all, doing activities, just doing activities that you really like. So for me, it was like snorkeling, for example. It's like hiking. It's like surfing. Because when you do the activities that you like, you already have something in common. with the people you will connect with. So that's already super easy. First, you are doing something that you really like, something that gives you energy. You are do it with like-minded people who are there also because they also like surfing and they also like snorkeling. So you already have that in common. So that's really easy to connect. Like right now on Bali, I was struggling in the beginning as well with connecting. I was not fully open because I was really processing all the stuff. Like, oh, I left my friends and family at home. I don't have a home anymore in the Netherlands. So yeah, I had a lot to cope with, but at some point I started to open up myself and I went to a co-working space where I met amazing people. Well, you're one of them
Oh,
who
yeah.
became, yeah, I mean, who become friends and but that's also because these are all like-minded people. We have something in common. We are all solo travelers mostly. We are all working online. We are all, yeah, wanted another lifestyle that we had before. So there are already three things that we have in common, and it's super easy when a co-working space organize events, and then just show up, go there, and then you will see and experience that it is very easy to connect with other people and invite other people as well. Like, hey, I'm going for a swim, or hey, I'm going for a hike. Someone who wants to join. See the worth in yourself. Like, hey, I'm worth it to connect with other people and not to be alone and to have an amazing experience. That's what it is
Yeah.
all about. To have that amazing
Yeah.
experience for yourself.
It comes from that inner self-worth, realizing that you are an amazing person and anyone is worthy. It will be grateful to be in your presence. The people that you're
Exactly.
meant to connect with, you know, they're going to be there and they're going to enjoy just being with you for you. You are worth that
Yeah.
connection. I love
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I just love the women that we've met here as well, and just each other, and like it's just this like nice, like warm and fuzzy, supportive circle, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And what is one question that you wish you could have asked your younger self earlier, maybe at the start of your journey?
I don't know if it is really a question. It's for me, it's about the world is your playground. It's not
Yeah,
only necessarily where you grew up. Like where you grew up doesn't necessarily mean that that's the best environment for you. For me, it was definitely not the best environment for me. So, yeah, go explore. Don't be so scared. Don't be that insecure. You will be fine. I think that that's something I want to say to myself. Like, believe in yourself. You will be fine. Life is about ups and downs. I see that's like waves are coming, and you are able to decide like, am I going to surf on the waves or am I going to let it go? These are the things I would say to my younger self as a
your younger
solo
self.
traveler. And I think in general, I think in
Yeah.
general, yeah,
Yeah, I love that. And then asking them, are you in the right environment to support
exactly.
you? Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think that's a
beautiful.
that's a very important one because your environment is so impactful. A lot of people are still not aware about that, but ask yourself the question, is the environment really fitting me, match with my personality? It's about the interaction that you have with your environment. Is it really nurturing you? Are you able to grow from that place or is it holding you back? And if it is not the right place, because we know all of us know the examples that it is not, just be aware that you can create it yourself. You can step out of it and create it yourself. And that's something that I did. It's really about designing your own life.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. And also it's like in that design process too, like maybe it's not one city, maybe it's multiple cities in one year, right? Like what we're doing. So it doesn't
Yeah,
have to be like, oh, I have to choose the one city that's going to be the perfect fit for me all the time. Different cities can satisfy and nurture you in different periods of your life. So right now we're both in Bali. Maybe we both needed this nurturing, healing energy for these few months. I know you're going to Bangkok right after this, so you're going back into like a city energy, right?
yeah,
And that's the environment that you're leaning towards for that next phase.
yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty of travel.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it is.
And in general, what would be a tip that you would give other women who are considering solo travel for the first time, are a bit hesitant? Like, what's one thing you would tell them to kind of just get them to start?
If you really have this desire, like this ticklish feeling in your stomach, like these little butterflies who are flying around in your body because you feel that, yeah, you have to desire to explore and to see what's what the world has to offer you. Don't listen to the voice that scares you, that makes you feel more doubting or insecure. No, listen to the butterflies. Listen
Yeah.
to that feeling and go. Absolutely go. Because when you start to follow these butterflies, when you start to follow this positive energy, it will level you up. You know what I mean? So I really had to discover that for myself. Like the moment I feel these butterflies, this positive energy, I try not to think about it too much, but just go, you know? Another tip I would say is, or I would love to give is your plan, don't close it off with, oh, this is how it should be. Just keep it open. Because when you keep it open, it will succeed because you're able to dance with all the experience that life is giving you and is traveling giving you. And as soon because kind of make that mistake early on, it has to be like this. And then you set such a high expectation for yourself, and when it's not becoming like that, like the outcome is different, then you're disappointed. And that's something you don't want. You fully want to experience what you're going to do, what you're already doing. So keep an open mind for that, I would
Mhm.
say.
Yeah, the universe does surprise you with things that are even better, right? Like
Yes.
you might have an idea of, yes, this is kind of what the direction that I want to have, this is the vision, and it's beautiful to have that big dream, that big vision, but allow room for serendipity, allow room for synchronization and synchronicities from the universe to come to you and even like give you more than what you asked for, because that's actually what ends up happening is you're surprised with just how much more abundant and how much more beauty is waiting for you that you didn't even think about for yourself, because you only know how much you know. And
Yeah.
as you go down your journey, you start to expand,
Yes.
and you want to make sure you're not limiting your big dream based on a version of you that was like 5 years ago when you weren't fully expanded at that point.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
I love it. And one last question. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. One more question. We're going to tie this back into play. And tell me how play is part of your life currently. What do you do in your life that feels like play?
Traveling is playing for me.
Yeah.
That, that that's
It's an
that's
exploration in you. Yes.
that's an exploration in you, in myself. Yeah, I like to do snorkeling, like being outdoors. I like now I'm here in Bali. I really like to drive scooter. It really gives me such a feeling of freedom, and I can decide which direction I'm going. Yeah, I sometimes I ended up somewhere and it is so beautiful over there, and I never thought that, oh, this is going to be my destination because I kept it open. I'm going to drive a dirt bike on Sunday with Lisa,
I
our
saw
friend.
I
Yeah,
yeah, I saw oh man, I'm so excited for you guys. I'm terrified and I won't be joining because I would die, but I want to see all the photos. I want to hear how it's about.
yeah, it's like again, it was the ticklish feeling that I had in my body, like, yes, I want to do that. I want that adrenaline. I want to explore if it is something for me. So playing and exploring and also being creative because I love photography as well. Yeah, these are goals like almost the same for me.
Yeah, and I love that you're still tapped in to that child version of you that enjoyed those activities, and you've been able to bring that into your adult life and continue that feeling of lightness and play and like magic and wonder and the butterflies to today. So that's what I hope for other people is to be as tapped in to the things that light them up and incorporating those activities in your
Yeah,
adult life.
I mean it's super important. I lost it for quite a while, but now I'm more connected with my body. Now I'm able to feel these these butterflies again, and I decided, okay, don't think about it too long. Just go. Just
Just
go.
do it.
Just do it. That's really like my motto. And one of the other things is, hey, I've never done it, so I think I can do it. Yeah, just go. Follow that feeling because it will lift you up, light you up. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Yes. Tell us one more time how we can get in contact with you, find out more about the work that we're doing, and yeah, just keep in touch with all of your projects.
Yes. So you can find me on LinkedIn. It's my full name, Nicoline Thijssen. That's where you can find my post. That's where you can reach out to me if you just have a question or when you share your experience with me. I'm always open to listen to you.
Perfect. Thank you
Yes,
again for sharing your story of transformation, connection, and play with us today. I'm so grateful to have met you and have you as a guest. Thank you all for listening to today's episode with Nikki. I hope her story resonated with you all and it inspires you to transform your life through travel. See you all at the next adventure. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Travel Not to Escape podcast. I hope you found our conversation inspiring and insightful. And if you're ready to take the next step in your journey of self discovery through intentional travel, I invite you to join our vibrant and supportive community of solo female travelers over on Facebook. Inside our community, you'll find like minded women from all walks of life sharing their stories, experiences, and tips on how to make travel a transformative part of your life. It's a safe space to ask questions, seek advice, and find inspiration. To become a part of this incredible community, simply search for Travel Not to Escape on Facebook groups, or you can click the link in the episode description. I can't wait to welcome you into our tribe of fearless travelers. Remember, your journey of self discovery begins with that first step, so don't hesitate, join us today, and let's embark on this adventure together. Until next time, keep exploring, connecting, and playing, and safe travels, navigators.